All right. Okay. Is this working? Are we on? Are we live? I think we are.
I see the little live button.
Okay. And I'm hearing my echo. All right. Handled. We have Alex's nice. Is that you with the background sound, Alex?
Oh, it probably is. I'm sorry. I'll mute.
No, it's not a big deal. It's not too bad. So welcome everybody. Sorry, we're just having some technical difficulties here. Sorry about the late start. Welcome to Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk, and let me sit back so you can actually see my face a little bit. My name is William Kale from Coinigy.com. Got a great show for you tonight, even though we're a little bit late. As usual, we have Brian Beamish, the Rational Investor. What's going on tonight, Brian?
Hello, everybody. Doing great.
All
Totally
right.
excited. We haven't had one of these combos in a while. We got a really cool panel here tonight, so I'm totally jazzed.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Last week I had similar technical difficulties last week, and we just decided, oh, screw it, let's wait a week, let's do it next week, and then Hangouts was giving me problems again. So yeah, but as usual, we also have Alex Sterk from Blocktalk. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. Yeah, it's kind of funny. You can be really cursing your ass off, but at the same time, it's a nice free service, so can't be too mad, I guess.
Yeah, I was, pouring over their like support, or if you can call it support, like the Google groups where people just go to piss and moan about it. And I was gonna post something, and I figured, you know what, it's just not worth it. They're not even gonna get back to me. I'll just see if it irons itself out. So yeah, got a special guest tonight, Da Vinci or Dav. Do you want me to refer to you as Dav or Da Vinci?
Well, Da Vinci's fine, actually. That's what everybody else calls me.
Right.
I have a nickname called Chocolate Boy, but that's a whole other story. I used to sell chocolates. I actually got kids to sell chocolates when I was younger, and that was
right on.
But now I'm into
crypto.
crypto programming.
Awesome, welcome. So yeah, I guess I can start it out. Kind of big news today. Circle is suspending the selling of Bitcoin. You guys all see that?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
A little surprised.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I mean, they were kind of outside of Coinbase, like I think maybe the number 2 really source for your average person to just go buy Bitcoin, with a bank account.
Their message board said that they were exploring the next sort of development phase in crypto. So I wonder what the heck all that was about.
Yeah, I only skimmed it, and it seemed a little cryptic to me. It seemed like they were kind of, maybe because of risk or some other factor, just decided to withdraw the whole buying and selling of Bitcoin part, and then glossed it over with all this other jargon stuff. That's just kind of what it seemed like to me.
When you hear the press release from like their, or if you see like a recent presentation from their CEO, he was already seeming kind of, I guess, lackluster about having Bitcoin as a main part of their platform. So I guess the writing was kind of on the wall. But at the same time, like I think they're looking at kind of an all-in-one solution, not just for Bitcoin, but like, having a token wallet that's easy to use. And I think maybe to mitigate risk, they just decided to drop the buying and selling of Bitcoin, probably due to similar reasons of Coinbase, right? That was something else that happened the last 3 weeks, was the Coinbase and IRS thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
So you guys are all planning on reporting your capital gains.
Of course.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
And
hopefully,
of course,
you have capital
if
gains
anything, it's also a testament to what, if anything, if the tax man is going to be a little bit more involved in this space, it kind of makes sense why we're seeing as depressed of a venture capital market as we are into this particular tax loss selling window. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are more sort of senior people that are involved in this space now that are dealing in larger amounts of money. And, the stock market is booming, so they may be looking at capital gains there. And also Bitcoin trading itself too, there might be capital gains implications. So, it kind of feeds into why we're seeing the venture market as depressed as it is right now.
Do you see the circle thing as really impacting the market in any way?
Well, Bitcoin, I mean, if anything, I think that Ethereum debacle's probably done more damage than any particular, like individual company saying that they're not going to be in the business anymore. I read on the site, they were saying, please, if you want to buy Bitcoins, please go to Coinbase. Here's the link. They're still up and running. I think they just simply wanted to exit that business model that they were in before, and pursue other avenues. That's the only impression that I got. I don't know any inside story or anything.
Yeah, I haven't actually used them. I mean, Alex, do you know, were they, from what I gathered, I mean, it's basically like they're trying to be a wallet/bank, right, for crypto?
Yeah, they had like an instant buying feature that a lot of people were big fans of. Like, because with Coinbase, I think you have like a couple day delay of some sort, but with Circle, you could actually purchase instantaneously. And it was a really convenient way, I guess, as an on-ramp. I think the only qualms that a lot of people had with it was their limits were really, they were all over the place. Like one day they would have like $3,000, and then the next day they would be down to like 500. It was just, it wasn't consistent that way. But
I wonder if maybe like their liquidity provider had something to do with this, and maybe they decided to back out or something.
No, it could possibly be, yeah.
Interesting. Well, on another note, I wanted to get this out of the way too. So as far as Coinigy is concerned, the last week or two, we've been starting to work kind of on our overall roadmap. So I'm planning on, kind of giving a webinar to go over that, hopefully Friday. So if you guys want to tune in, if, I'm shooting for Friday. It might be early next week, depending on how things go. But we got a lot of cool stuff in store in the near future. So anybody who's been kind of wondering what's going on, behind the scenes and kind of what some of the things we're working on, we've been getting over a lot of development humps lately. So it's time to kind of focus on going forward and plotting out like an official public roadmap that's downloadable and everybody can carry along or follow along while we go through it. So stay tuned for that. It'll be on this channel. Give us a hint. Yeah, I mean, well, I'll give you the hint of like the first thing that we're releasing, which is basically a feature request widget. So that'll be live hopefully by Friday, basically. Lots of stuff in store. I can't give away too much yet.
Okay.
That's just a little nibble, but it's involving some of the stuff that Brian's coughing over, I'm sure. So we're finally poised to make some of these things actually happen, which is...
I'm sorry. I even sat there for a minute and I go, no, be quiet. Don't say anything. And it came out of me. I'm sorry.
The sad part is, I mean, we've been so just friggin' swamped that I haven't even had time to make this roadmap until like this week, pretty much. So, now that I can actually focus on the roadmap, now we can have the roadmap to actually make some promises to the users about timelines and that sort of thing. So it's only going to work out for everybody's benefit. And then and then as far as like chart scanner and stuff, Brian, you'll have something that you can look at so you don't have to cough every show. Because you'll know roughly the timeline before it's released. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Other than that, yeah. One other thing actually that I just remembered. So if anybody out there is interested in historical data, we do sell crazy amounts of historical data for pretty much every exchange that we support. I'm trying to get together basically like a Christmas sale. So it's going to be like 25% off of historical data. Hoping to get that live also by next week, and that'll go through Christmas and New Year's. So,
yeah. you were for the what do they call it, Black Friday or whatever the hell they call it. You were giving away some incredible deals there, right?
Yeah, we did. We did like a lifetime subscription deal. So, you know, I don't know. Da Vinci might have been around. I know. I think Alex was around too. I don't know if Brian was around, but when we first launched, way at the tail end of 2014, we gave basically like a 2-month window where people could buy lifetime subscriptions, and then we cut it off. And we felt like it was time to let some more folks get in on that. We've had people asking about it for like 2 years now. So we're like, hey, Black Friday, we want to do something special. Let's open it up for a while. And hey, it worked out really well. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on your and you know what I actually like to see is I don't see anybody talking about the site issues with from a while ago, which is exactly perfect.
I feel like we're pretty well past that at this point.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good, right? You know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously knock on Formica here, knock on glass, but yeah, I mean, I just want to say too, thanks to everybody kind of in the community that's really been supporting us. Really been huge. So yeah, couldn't have gotten through gotten through this without all the support of all of our users. So
yeah, way to go.
So yeah, let's get on to some crazy alts and whatever else is out there.
All right.
I don't know if we have a wheel or not, but
why don't we start off with just a quick boo at the old Bitcoin?
Yeah, actually, there was a kind of a funny thing that happened today. CNBC published an article saying we were going to 2017. So,
wait, say that again, Alex. You cut out.
Here, one sec. Yeah, no, CNBC published an article that Bitcoin would hit $2,000 sometime in 2017. So that kind of seems like a sell the news type of article, right?
Oh no!
Why would CNBC be publishing that?
Oh no!
Yeah.
At the bottom,
bear market incoming.
At the bottom, they publish a little thing that says, this is purely a speculative thing to drive a conversation. It's like, okay, well, why?
Did anybody hear Alex?
I seem to remember the talking heads. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. If you got that link, actually, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
But I found it kind of interesting how they were trying to do this equity financing on Stamp, and the people at Waves recently, and actually this is a referral from Will, so thank you very much for the referral, Will. But the people at Waves have asked me to do a little video summary of Bitcoin recently for them.
Yeah, is that going down?
It's fun. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear about that.
So yeah, thanks for that. And by all means, people who are following me on Twitter, you'll see lots of those mentions and stuff. They have a pretty good job at promoting their site. But really, the message that I've been telling, and really anybody watching this, it's the same message. It's getting a little tiresome saying the same message over and over again. But basically, we're just coming up and testing the upper end of the trading range. And, I like to have on, was this Phoenix? Wow, geez, I didn't realize that the gap was that big. But I like to add the Phoenix on there because that was the Phoenix hack gap there. And really, all we've been doing is just banging back and forth up against this upper end of the range. And I was putting out tweets today saying things like, if you break out through the top, you're a bull. If we stay underneath the top here, you're still a range. Would you just go and break out already into the Italian referendum there? It actually felt like the market was setting itself up to tank here. And I was suggesting to those Waves people, and it would be the same thing that I was suggesting to the audience, here that, actually we were playing long setups through here on this rally, and I found it really interesting. One guy that I used to follow for years and years and years, John Bollinger, he's actually gotten interested in the Bitcoin space, which I find hilarious. But he was posting tweets and stuff about profit objectives hit, and we were lucky we got some longs off and made some half decent money. And basically heading into the week, heading into the Italian referendum, I was cautioning people that I'm probably going to be hunting shorts against the top end of this range. And those shorts did start to work. But then, yes, and I don't know whether, I guess it was, these times are so screwy. This is still today to me. This is a new day here that just started like an hour and a half ago. But yesterday we actually carved out an inside bar reversal, and this all happened, and it was interesting because I was watching, on my matrix on my screen, I watch Stamp, Phoenix, the BTC, CNY, the OKCoin futures, or the forwards, and they were all pointing down, and then all of a sudden, those bank to the future guys started blasting out their equity investment idea. Did you see those, Alex? Da Vinci, I think maybe you saw them because we were talking about in the lounge. Did you see those, Alex?
I did see the Bitstamp one. I didn't look too much into it. I think they have a fairly low evaluation that they're going for, but again, it's really up for interpretation, really subjective on what is an exchange worth.
Yeah, what I found was, though, that the moment those actually came out, Stamp's price started to move up. And we actually carved an inside reversal bar here yesterday. And so earlier this morning, anybody who follows me watching the video here saw the waves video, was thinking what Brian was talking about short. And yeah, we were short the OKCoin forwards. We clipped it for a few bucks, not a hell of a lot. And then we went and put these inside bar reversals in. And so I've just been sort of cooling my jets. I just hopped off. Really, I'm on the fence again. And I'm not really trading any setups per se right here. But man, we are just like so on the edge here. And really to make this really easy on all of us, come on, Bitcoin, just go break these damn highs. Show us some volume. And let's be done with this. As it stands right now, if we get any sort of weakness, and hearing what Alex just said there, hearing about this, if we get any sort of further news out of the IRS and Coinbase, and how, Bitcoin is now officially going to be, no longer anonymous, and all of their client files are going to be distributed. Oh boy, that's going to be a headache. We are still pointing up for the time being, but oh boy, she's on edge right now. And now you can actually see, God, we've talked about this at length, good old M's and W's. We actually have the real potential of putting in a very cute little M up here. So everybody, keep a darn sharp eye. If we roll over here and fail and actually close below there, that's basically a confirmed market structure top at the place where you don't want this to top out. I mean,
sounds like CNBC is trying to force an M right now.
There you are. Exactly. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. I remember we saw Nautilus coin. Remember when they just had the briefest little spurt on CNBC, and that was like literally the top of the market. As soon as they had that little interview, that was the end of the rally. It just like died instantly. I hope that's not the case. That would really suck. I did also see too, though, news about the Winklevosses. They were sort of beating the drumbeat this morning, and people were posting stuff about that. So maybe they're going to try and keep the price up here into that event.
Brian, quick question though. You keep referring to Bitcoin and the price of dollars, but the majority of people buying Bitcoin comes from China.
Right,
so shouldn't we use the Chinese price, the yuan? And if we do use the yuan, you can see that it's already broken out. If you can see on my chart here, that is broken out in the yuan price, right? And it's been above the breakout, about the last high for the June high for the longest while right now. The only problem is, as you can see, there's some major divergence, like a lot of divergence here, like all kinds.
Yeah,
all the way down on our side. That's
my simple response to that, like if you look at Bitcoin and euros, same thing. So my simple response to that is, what's going on with the US dollar? and the U.S. dollar is going a little bit nuts right now. So the question I have to ask myself is, you know, and this is just from my maybe old dinosaur experience, but is that Bitcoin prop up above those old highs in Chinese yuan? If we take out the currency manipulation, the currency fluctuation, what does that Bitcoin and Chinese yuan chart look like? And my hunch is, and somebody on the internet, I was having this conversation with them earlier, they were like, yeah, it kind of went up and flirted with those highs, but really hasn't broken out if you take that currency devaluation out of the equation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, but I don't see how you could take it out, the manipulation, because what's happening is... I think
they were looking at like the OKCoin US dollar cash. That would be sort of converting it back. The Chinese market traded in US dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, like, because I know you can look at the US dollar index where it compares it against a lot of other national currencies. There really should be a Bitcoin dollar or a Bitcoin index where you convert it or have it against not just US dollar, but the yuan and the euro.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a very good idea. Yeah.
You mean like a full combined weighted fiat index type of thing?
Yeah, that'd be kind of something.
So it's just like Bitcoin versus the index.
Not a bad idea at all.
Mm-hmm. So that's my feature request.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I'm taking a mental note and I'm going to add that to the feature request because we do have, weighted indexes. They're just not live on the site necessarily right now. So, and we can extrapolate that really to, we can add 100 markets to one index if we want. So
cool. Well, it's the price in SDRs.
Well, yeah. If anything.
What is SDR though? Is that?
It's special drawing rights. It's a currency that's not available for individuals, but only for governments. It's a basket of currencies that includes China's renminbi, the Japanese yen, the euro, the U.S. dollar, and one other currency I can't remember. But
interesting. So that I assume that's available somewhere for us to pull the data, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. I know. Oh, it's gold. It's gold. It's the other currency that's in there.
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome. Okay.
I think that's a unit that's used by like the IMF though. So I don't know. Yeah. I think though, Will, you could actually replicate the US dollar index because in essence, each of the different currencies just has a simple percentage weighted.
Sure, right.
So you could actually, and I think that's a brilliant idea, like really smart idea.
Yeah, I don't see why not. We can't do it. I mean, we're doing it right now across basically. If you look at, your balances, I mean, that's a weighted index across every exchange.
Yeah.
So if you have, there's no reason we can't throw in additional batter in the recipe.
As Da Vinci sort of pointed out earlier, and this is sort of what I've been sort of telling people, is I would like to see the US dollar Bitcoin breakout in US dollars just to confirm that, we're in a trend, higher highs and higher lows. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to go and buy Bitcoins here because I think it's extremely dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if we pop up through the highs and then come back down to like the 200-period moving average or something like that. That wouldn't surprise me at all and clean up all the divergences. One problem I have with this rally, and I've had it for a while now, is it's coming on very low volume. And, if we do get some sort of big negative volume day, that will probably spark the end of the rally. So, but I would say the last thing that I'll say on Bitcoin is, a lot of people, and especially, the audience, are, probably, 9-to-5ers. Hey, look, I work a full-time job. And this is where these sort of that higher time frame bot that we talked about months and months ago that had us going long off this cup and handle breakout. All they are is they're long with their stop at break even. And if we tag this high, do you remember that? I could go find the tweet. If we tag this high, then they can start trailing their stop and locking in profits. I'm not necessarily saying that, Bitcoin's bad, it's going to go down. There are a lot of people that are playing long setups, and they're just like, for God's sakes, take this high out, and then at least we can start locking in profits. So, you know, the market's been moving up. Don't get me wrong. It's and just show me higher highs and higher lows, and the bull is well and good. I'm just worried that we're starting to show signs of exhaustion here.
I got the site pulled up here, Bitcoin Average, and they actually do have a global Bitcoin price index. It looks like,
Cool.
yeah, it's
Nice.
but
it's bumping its way higher here. That looks awfully like that Euro chart, though, doesn't it?
yeah, well, the thing that will be really difficult is the Chinese exchanges have low fees or no fees, so their volume weighting will be really hard to kind of.
Oh wow, what's the blue box there?
It says it's USD, but then the Chinese yen isn't even on here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the yuan, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to take it with a grain of salt whenever you do the crunching for it. But one other thing that's kind of time sensitive in terms of Bitcoin price is the 3-month forwards, the quarterlies for OKCoin. I think we're getting a new one tomorrow night, so that's kind of maybe a catalyst for movement.
Okay, so the quarterly contract I think expires on the 30th.
I believe so. So next week it will turn into the 2-week forward, and then.
So does that happen on the 16th, or does that happen on the 9th?
That will happen on the 9th.
So that's all right. So actually, that fills me with a lot of relief, because I've been like sitting here because the forwards have been a fucking pain in the ass because they're just not acting the way normal forwards do, and you know the premium is just coming out of that 3 month, but it's not really a 3 month. It's like a 2.5 week forward right now, right? And the premium is just bleeding. It's one reason why I kind of don't like to trade this OKCoin forward, but really I want to trade a forward contract, so it's really the only place I can go. If any of you guys find out, BitMix has a forward or futures kind of system. And I'm trying to learn it, but God, I can't wait till the CME gets a damn futures contract for this thing. But
yeah, they have the perpetual futures, which they're like never expiring or whatever.
Yeah, I still haven't quite figured that out. But the point that Alex makes is hugely significant in my opinion, and that is that around these OKCoin forwards expiries, do you guys notice? Look at this forward contract. It doesn't look nearly as bullish as all these cash markets, does it?
Yeah, no.
You know, and this has been a major problem. And what I'm worried about is, can you guys see the head and shoulders that's forming here now?
Yes. You can see it sideways, head and shoulders, yeah.
You know, and the worst part about it is this is exactly what our sort of head and shoulders-y kind of volume should be looking like too. So, oh boy, this looks troublesome. So, excellent point, Alex. Spot on. We might see some real funny shenanigans around this forwards contract into expiry here.
Oh yes, no, that's usually the case. One of your star students that I talk with a fair bit, Greg, he has an awesome chart of the forwards premium, and he kind of sees double tops in the premium. Like he's not even looking at Bitcoin price, just the pure premium over spot price.
Awesome, I love that. And so, hint, hint, hint. Well, this should be a priority for you. You really got to be able to do spreads. We got to be able to study the difference between these markets, because there's a lot of information there, and I don't want to show those other guys a site, right?
Yep, I hear you. That's one of the things that's going on the list.
All right.
Well, it's actually already on a list somewhere. It's just not public yet. So.
And here's another kick in the pants. We had one of our students the other day. I've been working with him for about a year or so, and he says, you know, Brian, I've been noticing, do you kind of notice that Bitcoin kind of likes to top out in like November, December, and it likes to bottom in like January, February? And he said, look, it did it here, it did it here, it did it here. It's like, wow, I think you're onto something. So should it really shock us, 6 months from now, if we look back and we see that Bitcoin topped in November, December, and it puts in some sort of trough through January, February? I don't think it should surprise us. And we're also seeing, and this is really good for tonight's conversation, is we're starting to finally, I think, see some capitulation bottoms in these altcoins. which would also sort of further reinforce that idea that maybe we're at some sort of Bitcoin pivot here.
Definitely.
So, yeah. All right. So I see Alex has the wheel on the screen. Is that a subtle hint?
I think so, yeah. So let's, you guys ready to give her a spin, and let's see what the night shows us.
Let's do it.
You know what, Bitcoin? If Bitcoin's out there listening to me, just break out to new highs here, please, and then this whole conversation is moot.
Around.
You guys didn't like that one, eh? Oh, I'm sorry.
I like that one. It was a good one.
Sorry, I was typing in chat.
Oh, ICN. This is Coinigy, I think it's called. It's an Ethereum-based altcoin hedge fund. You know?
Yeah, and they had a huge ICO, right?
Yeah, so they buy the crowd fund, so you don't have to.
ICN?
ICN.
So
Yeah.
Indigo, Charlie, Nancy?
Yes.
I show it trading on Gate.
Kraken.
I think
Maybe.
Kraken is like their primary.
Yeah, which is really surprising because if they're issuing dividends, I don't get how they can be listed when they're definitely a security.
Ooh, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's
So,
a problem.
you said an Ethereum derivative?
Yeah, well, Kraken does the other Bitcoin ticker. They do the XBT.
Yeah.
But they're, I guess, an Ethereum hedge. So,
Yeah. I think in all honesty, just for this audience, let's I've been sort of letting the audience get away with not having enough data to build cases to take trades. I have found of late that, especially during these seasonal troughs, if you're thinking about stuff to buy, the easiest way to keep you honest, guys, is just try and pull up a weekly chart and see if you can find a W anywhere. And so an asset like, pardon me?
I see an R. Giant lowercase R.
That's probably not a good sign. So an asset like this, there just isn't enough data for us to say that the market has found a bottom here. I think it's at the absolute best, it's still very exploratory. And, I joke with them, but I have to say, in hindsight, these guys at IOC, in my opinion, and I've said this from day one with these guys are pros. And when you look at their price chart, this is what we want to see. We want to see success of higher highs and higher lows.
Which really you very rarely see in alts. Like a
well,
Turk.
and that's what I said. I think these guys are the shit. Right? But if you go through Coinbike, this just happens to be a good working model where you find your weekly W's, hunt your reload zones, hunt for signs of divergence, take market structure, and just rinse and repeat. Just keep coming back to the well. So that other coin that we were just looking at, that ICN, right? I mean, just the very simplest message that I can tell you guys is this doesn't have enough history for us to really make any conclusive decisions about the fate of this thing. All right, I think.
Alex, do you know if the fund is even active yet? Are they doing mutual fund stuff yet, or is it still kind of early?
I think it's still early. I'm not sure that anything's going on other than the token is trading, because there's a bunch of layers to it, and honestly, it didn't interest me too much. I probably should do a bit more research on it just to definitively say I don't want to buy it. But
oh yeah, someone in chat just said the fund is actively investing. So
okay.
All right, so it's got 87 million coins out, not too heavy, not too light. $15 million market cap, so there's a bit of money in there. Technically speaking, this looks really heavy. It sure looks to me like we got to go down and eat this tail at some point. I suppose you can take some solace if they can turn this thing back up and break out through this consolidation in here. Then maybe you got something to work with. But as it stands right now, investment grade, no, you're just way too early. You just don't have any structure to work with yet. And for now, we're just consolidating, and just pure momentum traders look for a breakout through the highs here to confirm momentum. And I suppose if you wanted to do little old lady nibbles kind of idea, I really don't like when I see these kind of initial candles here. Did that go down to 0? It's funny how they do that, eh? Did this thing really trade at 0? I sure hope not.
I don't know what's up with that.
But, just simply put, if you're going to try and take stabs against, you can see the market structure trying to come in here. But, they made a new low here. There's no reason why we can't make another new low and another new low. In fact, there was a coin that looked like that. It would have a bounce can. And actually, I went and did some nibbling on this the other day. So, total hypocrisy, Brian. But nonetheless,
Bitcoin traded to 0 one time.
Can?
Bitcoin traded to 0 one time. Did you know that?
No. Did somebody actually did a transaction at 0?
It was because of MT Gox hack back in 2011.
Yeah.
Right, and they traded to 0. I think they actually reversed all those trades. Yeah, they did.
All right. Even something like this can, right? You think, okay, market structure bottom, we're doing good, and then, they break it to new lows. Yeah, you might have a nice seasonal counter trend rally, but then, break it to new lows. Here's an example where, like on the weekly basis, we're making lower highs and lower lows. That's not generally a good sign for the trend, right? Very exact opposite of that IOC.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't know what this, what these coins are. What was it again? INT, ICN, something like that.
ICN. Well, and if it's an altcoin index and they're investing right now, like now's the time when like they'll be the highest risk, I guess, because the fun is being actively spent, I guess, on altcoins. And if it's supposed to be kind of, I guess, an overview of like maybe not the altcoin space, but the Ethereum token space. Well, that's not going to be looking so good right now. So maybe later on in like April or something, when a lot of coins maybe are doing their new highs, this would be one to look at to see when potential dividends get paid.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask. So then I take it if you buy into the coin, you get dividends at some point.
Yeah. So
and what the dividends are like POS? They're just going to issue more coins to you?
I think they issue you Ether. But it could be I'm pretty sure it's Ether. Like it's very similar to how a lot of NXT assets work. Where
but ICN itself is an Ethereum token, right?
Yes, yeah. These are all operating.
So it's kind of, sort of paying out in its own currency.
Okay, then that's okay. That's not a security, and because it's decentralized, there's no way for them to stop that, right?
Right.
No way for them to stop it, and only by going after individual, users, probably fund traders, right? So the guys managing this, I think, are at a serious risk.
Exactly.
The exchange, maybe there's some side risk to that, but we'll end up seeing, I guess, how it really plays out legally. I'm really surprised Kraken listened.
Do you know if Bill from Bittrex made any comments on this as far as like why they're not listed? Because I know he's always, up in the cut with the lawyers, immediately trying to figure out if something's.
I think what he said was his.
I'm just thinking because of the dividends, basically. If the exchange is paying the dividends, they're complicit in whatever is going on. Technically, maybe. Yeah,
I think it's just that his lawyer gave him different advice than their lawyer probably did. So it really comes down to what the legal counsel is, because there is no real precedent here. Because that was something that came up the other day with Vox. Like Vox said they were going to give shares of a company for their token, and that's something that came up in 2014 with Archcoin, and there's potential for them to get delisted for it. But apparently, since it's only like a one-time trade or something, it doesn't fall into the same classification as a security. So there's a bunch of legal loopholes, and none of this has gone to court yet, so we really don't know what the true definition of it is.
Right. It's going to be so interesting over the next year or 2 years.
Oh yeah.
All right. So my simple message is give this thing some time to breathe. Let's see some structure come in here, and then we can get excited.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next on the wheel.
Next. Okay.
Did we just forecast the future?
I don't think I put NXT on it. Vacuum. Ooh. Well, Brian, you already had IOC pulled up.
Really?
You did.
Oh, jeez.
You did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, the cool part about good stories is that they're not really too difficult to sell, right? I mean, what I find really interesting about this thing is it just keeps doing the same very healthy, very normal cleanup process repeatedly. It's just so beautiful to watch. It's poetry in motion. And if I'm not mistaken, these guys, their product, they really want to gear it towards a very specific market, eh?
Yeah, it seems to be like user-friendly crypto. So they're
So yeah, like in the music industry and stuff, though, right?
I don't know if they're targeting the music industry per se. I believe they had a music video. Like Joel's got a
that
production
was
company, which I got a little flack from on the show. We were having some wobbly pops. I was a little vocal on my opinions, and I don't think they appreciated that. But if the word gets back to them that we're talking about it again, maybe Joel and I will talk, and we'll have them on the show again. I'd love to get an update, because I think they're doing a release of some new product, Dions or something. I'm not caught up on exactly what it is. He mentioned that already like a year and a half, 2 years ago, what it was.
Okay. So, long and short of it here, can I buy it right now? No. It is showing some interesting signs of cleaning itself up. We're no longer stupid. We're no longer... guys, talking to the audience, like seriously, through the end of the summer, I know you want to participate in the altcoin market, and these names are flying high, but that is when they're yelling, and really, that's not the time to be buying these assets. And so you got to let the market just sort of, it's interesting how, do you remember last spring when everybody was all rah Ethereum? And we did the show, and Rob and I had that conversation about, is it a good idea to buy Ethereum as it's moving higher and higher? Mm-hmm. Same sort of thing. I mean, you could buy IOC as it's breaking out higher here, but then you're in a position here, say, 3 or 4 months later, where I don't know what the hell to do now. Is it going to go higher? Well, it looks like there's an M here. I really like using the reload zone tool as sort of this is where we can, keep ourselves honest and try and prevent ourselves from buying into stories with still a little bit too much fluff. I think that they're taking the fluff out of the price of this asset now. I wouldn't mind if it was a bit lower, to be honest with you, but I can understand if it does come in and put a bottom in here against all these old highs in this traffic area. I'd love to be a buyer somewhere down in this area, down in here.
Hey, Brian, JC's on the chat, and he said, tell Brian to draw the fib off the June low because he sees 61.8 hit.
The June low, so that would be March, April, May, June. So off of this low, down into here. So that's what JC sees now. That's 61.8. I don't know. I mean, the problem here is that, 200 period moving average. It looks like they left a big old gap on the charts here. That's a bit bothersome. And also too, wow, isn't that interesting? That was into a gap too, and that gap has not been filled yet. And so I don't know whether you can see, was that actually 61.8?
Well, you're also on Bittrex, where this is also.
Where would you rather?
Poloniex, probably has a bit better fill out. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, that one's got a wick there.
Interesting. Look at this juicy gap right in here. Right there.
It's in the same location.
Yeah, looks pretty. It's probably the same.
Yeah, the difference is on Polo. It's got a wick on the last couple days.
Or gap down there that needs some attention. And so JC's asking if we should draw our fib off of this June low here.
Now JC is saying no, Bittrex. Oh, well.
Yeah, you guys are killing me, man.
It was pretty close to 61.8 on Bittrex.
So the point here is, and actually this is interesting. Look how it traded down on Polo to JC's 61.8, and boom. And then back down, and boom, and then back down, boom. This is like it's like cat on a hot tin roof. Touching your foot on or finger on a stove, or it just hits that level and ooh, get me the hell out of there. I'm a bit concerned that it just keeps probing down here, right? And now watch what happens when we change this to a line chart. Uh-oh. It looks to me like they tried to turn it in here, and that just failed miserably right there. So there is this gap that's needing some attention. If we look at old highs, there's good old line in the sand, and look how that's right up against all of these old lows here. That looks like, me personally, I think I would go at the very least off the 52-week range. So now that puts that mountain man level 61.8 right in that gap. That's interesting. So on Polo, ooh, wow, now that's an interesting level right in there. So it looks to me like it has to go a little bit lower. I didn't like the look of that gap on Polo there. And besides, guys, this is a V bottom, right? We just made a new low. In fact, is this low lower than this low? That'd be interesting to see. 27,501, and this low is 27,600. Uh-oh. So they broke some hearts here. Haven't filled in this gap totally yet. I think we could probe a bit lower. And actually, this is interesting as for sort of upside objectives. Can you see how they left a gap right here? And so it looks to me like they're reaching up to try and fill this gap in right here. Interesting idea, JC. If anything, what I think is going on here is we got a moving average sandwich. I don't know if you guys have ever heard me talk about that before. Sometimes price can get trapped between these moving averages, and it like coils, and it's like literally top of the trading range, bottom end of the trading range, and it'll just drive you crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, IOC's done this kind of thing before, right? This is actually really typical of IOC's sort of bottoming process. Can you guys see how, have you guys ever heard me talk about saucer bottoms? You see how it's like a saucer there? So if we apply this sort of same logic, you can sort of see the saucer trying to form, eh? So I wouldn't, JC, I think you're probably not a bad level to be thinking about being long in here. It's just a little too early for me to say, yep, that thing's got a double bottom. It's about to take off. I think we're just still a bit early.
I think he's just happy about buying that wick.
The tail?
The tail, yeah.
Yeah, really, I think the level
called it at exactly 61.8, got the fill. Now he's happy about it.
Oh, okay. So he's reporting that he did buy off of this level?
He didn't explicitly say that, but that's just what I'm assuming.
Well, JC is a very good trader, so no doubt about it. If JC's in there hunting, then probably not a bad idea for you to pay attention as well. But for those, a lot of people that are watching on the audience, it's tough to be able to just go and grab V bottoms like this. For this sort of layman 9 to 5, I do a job, really, for us to know that these things have bottom, we want to see a nice W, kind of like what we saw through here. Give us a nice, and the cool part about IOC is that they telegraph the moves really, really well. Like I said, these guys really know how to run their coin. I'm very impressed. And actually on Bittrex, I don't think it did that candle low there. But again, you can sort of see the very WE type behavior here. That's what you'd have to really see for me to believe that we're ready to go. So. Okay, did we give him the just desserts?
Good luck, JC.
Yeah.
Good luck, JC.
All right.
Next.
Another spin of the wheel.
Hey, DJ, spin that wheel.
I'd like to buy an M.
Like the 80s. Sorry. dating myself again.
Ooh, LBC library.
Oh, LBC.
Library.
Yeah, this thing is
Oh,
kind of
that's
fucking
heartbreaker.
All right, yeah, heartbreaker. Good one. Oh man. And every day I look at this, I'm like, okay, is
Ooh.
this when Alex's function turns? Is this when Alex's function turns?
Yeah.
You said that so the payouts or something are supposed to change somewhere along here.
It is. They are decreasing, but yeah, when you crunch the numbers of how much they're actually producing in Bitcoin value, it's still extremely inflationary. So they're doing the best to try and catch this, catch these dumps. But man, it's been pretty tough to watch.
This is painful. And actually, I was talking with somebody about this recently. Actually, just like we were talking about with IOC and saucer bottoms. Sometimes when these things bottom too sharply, and we lose this trend line in here, this can be the backside result, and it can be just a mess. First things first, this is exactly in venture capital land. This is exactly why we do things like little old lady risk management, because there's no guarantees in any of this shit, right? And don't take too much risk on any one name. If you were margin leverage trading this, and for heaven's sake, excuse me, and you didn't take any profits here, tisk tisk. But if you were margin leverage trading this and it failed through this level here, you got to walk away. And that can be just devastatingly painful to have to just, if you are like, it scared the shit out of me when one of our panelists was telling me that as the coin that he was interested in was going down, he just kept buying more and buying more and buying more. And I'm like, oh God.
It looks like that's happening en masse here.
Yeah, so if you're really lucky, it works. If you're unlucky, it can turn into this kind of thing and it can wipe you out.
So Alex, do you know, so LBC was basically an ICO, right?
No, it was a fair launch coin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. I was wondering if maybe they had a huge cash and they were, had to liquidate over time in order to pay bills and that kind of stuff or something.
They have a pre-mine, but we have it on good authority that they have not sold any of it. But they are giving it away to people who are doing referrals. So there is a little bit of inflation in addition to the mining inflation. So that's maybe where there's I guess some more heaviness to this coin.
Yeah, so maybe people are getting their referral rewards and then just converting to BTC right away or something.
Yeah, and I think really the only thing that's going to save it comes down to usability. Like right now, they need people to be putting media on their network, and I think they actually have like a prominent YouTuber that they're looking at coaxing onto the platform, and what else? Yeah, they have a metric that's kind of deflationary for the coin, where you can kind of use coins to claim a name, and that's supposed to be like a fair market for name ownership, because it's how many credits are committed. So right now they just need like the network to start, I guess, getting critical mass, so people start claiming names.
I mean, that's an issue with so many just startups in general. I mean, getting to that point. So, I mean, look at Steam even. I mean, Steam almost got there, and now it's kind of just,
Yeah, and that's something I explained to Ned when I had him on the show for a second time, and he actually, I guess, worked with the rest of the team, and now they've kind of revamped their monetary policy to be far less inflationary. Steam, yeah.
Yeah, well, they did turn recently, eh?
Yeah, it's looking a lot better. I think, the changes that they're making are good. They have a good community of not just developers, but also just like prominent people who are really passionate about the site. So
what I found, it's kind of off topic, but what I found interesting about Steam was I went and bought some SBD. And when Steam collapsed there, SBD just didn't do anything. It just sort of just treaded water.
Yeah, that's their dollar pegged asset, which
the only thing that has any real value.
Well, it's backed by the ability to print more Steam.
What?
So there's a smart contract on the Steem blockchain, and it calculates the 7-day average price of Steem. So
we should we might as well throw it on here. Sorry.
So if I say own $1 worth of Steem dollars, they're taking in like data from the real world to tell you what the dollar value of Steem is, and you can always trade one Steem dollar for $1 worth of Steem, and it takes 7 days to convert, and it's based on that 7-day price.
Huh. So that's what SBD is. Basically.
Yeah. So okay. SBD is.
Well, look at the difference, though. I mean, it's startling. Now, there's your Steem investment, and SBD's just gone sideways.
Yeah, and I'm surprised it actually has.
Well, zoom in on that once. Get rid of that huge.
Oh, no, I mean, even if you do that.
Yeah, I guess it is.
That's not anything like that Steem that just fucking cratered.
Well, and the real instability of it is more based on the Bitcoin price, right? Like this is a dollar pegged asset that's trading against Bitcoin. So I don't. I think on Bittrex there might be there isn't a USD market anywhere for it, which I'm really surprised. That would be a pretty interesting pairing to see how tightly they could get it.
Is there opportunities to arb this then?
Yeah, but I think the fact that it takes 7 days to convert. But the interesting thing is it almost trades at, like, looking at these prices, converting them, it's almost always about 80 cents, maybe 90 cents on Bittrex. So if you think Steem is going up in the next week, what you should do is you buy Steem dollars and then you put it on the site and convert it to Steem, because you're going to get like a 20% discount depending on how the price moves, I guess, in those 7 days. But I've been watching this.
It's so confusing for me. And people have just asked me, well, Brian, I'm really interested in this Steem story. If you were going to buy one of the two assets, what would you buy? I just said go and buy this SBD. But I thought it was interesting. And, this is kind of a funny commentary. People that are watching the Steem, that are Steem enthusiasts, that are Steem developers, site people, whatever, if you do watch this. I went on this site and I tried to participate in the community, and I went on the site and I put out a blog post warning the community, especially when we broke down here. I said, this has got trouble written all over it.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that, though.
Well, but see that, the site, if it really is of any value, at the same time, some guy put on the same damn day that I did that write-up, he put out a little post saying that he thought this Steem was going to break out to new highs. This was a bull flag, and away he goes. And, what I found fascinating...
And he got 1,000 Steem bucks.
Yeah, exactly. What I found fascinating, and, the audience and people that are running the Steem network, the guy... It was literally like, and it's kind of a nasty concept, but, I think it's the best way to describe it. The site just, to me, felt like a, and I don't even want to use the term, a
echo chamber,
reassuring sort of cocoon of communal
circle jerk.
Another word is,
we know what you were getting at.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was really interesting the other day. I was actually putting out tweets. Hey, things aren't looking so bad. And, trader-wise, this was a beautiful setup because, if we follow a little hunt reload zone kind of concept, which you guys have been listening to me now for probably a year or so, squawking about, this thing came right back down into the reload zone and then just put in the prettiest little W. Because boop, 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 see you later. And what's really cool about this, I can hear some of the airplane taking off somewhere. Wow, that was interesting.
I had to mention the Air Force going by.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting in that we had a really nice little moving average crossover here too, which I love to use these particular 13 EMA 30 SMA to confirm a trend change. So they're just the most beautiful little setup. And as you can see, it worked quite nicely.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, so that was a Black Hawk.
Uh-oh.
Hey, if you got to go, Da Vinci, I understand.
What do they use though in Chile? Do they use Blackhawks?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. All right, so interesting little story on Steam. Has it run out of steam in the short term? Kind of looks like it. A little bit of an empire top here. So unfortunately, bulls, you really don't want to see the market break through this low. If it does, then unfortunately that means that this rally is probably done. And for those people that are interested in actually buying, I thought it was really interesting that if we do a reload zone off of this entire range, the line in the sand lines up nicely with this little gap here, which also lines up nicely with the original double bottom breakout. So I was joking with somebody the other day because they were like, well, Brian, what do you do if this thing's running up? And you're like, oh, FOMO, I want a FOMO. Actually, what I do, my version of FOMO is I throw on the RLZ tool and I go and throw in a bid at the line in the sand. That's my FOMO. I thought, and you know, everybody watching, great little tool for you to take away from tonight's broadcast. This very powerful 2-candle setup called the Doji Gap. If you see this pattern, it is an extremely powerful signal. I see it in the stock market. I learned it from a futures trader probably about 5 years ago. Fantastic little tool. Day doji, the following day it gaps higher. Ideally, you want the market to close right up at the high of this bar as close as possible. And then one tick on this third day, one tick higher than this high, that's a buy signal. I mean, for all of us fractal aficionados, you should be able to see the big fractal formation here. But you can even just hunt for doji, gap, market gaps off the following day, closes near the top, and just one tick above that is a kick-ass buy signal. So a cool little added treat for all the audience tonight. Go into
so generally speaking, when you see that, place a buy immediately. Is that what you're saying, or is that just saying?
Gap, and you know this is a daily chart. Now in crypto, right, it just goes right over, right? In the stock market, you get the end of business day, and you can go and filter, and then before the market opens up the next day, whatever, right? Because this is crypto, literally, it's just going to go doink next candle. If it ticks up through this high, that's a buy signal.
Gotcha. So you're saying basically buy it right away.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not necessarily signifying long for the long term. It's
a
shorter term trade.
It's a trader's trade setup.
Gotcha.
Right. If a lot of my traders, they come to me and they're kind of like, Brian, W's are pretty. Oh, they're I understand that letter of the alphabet, but it's too slow. I want a signal that's going to get me in right off of this bottom, or right off of this bottom, or right off of this bottom. So, we'll use the fractal concept. But, here's an added treat for the audience today, and just take a screen capture of this. It's really simple. Day doji, following day gaps high, in this case bullish, gaps higher, closes up near the high of this bar. And then the next day, if it ticks one tick up through here, that's a kick-ass buy signal. And I think that worked pretty well for traders. What do you think? You bought there? Would you be feeling pretty good up top here? I think so.
Mm-hmm. Anyone curious about the concept of Steam it, but wants to see a different implementation? This Friday, I have Ryan X. Charles, formerly of Reddit, coming on the show to talk about Yours Network, which is basically Steam it, but done with Bitcoin. So it'll be kind of interesting to see, I guess, his deployment of it, and maybe this is one of Bitcoin's killer apps. It's called
Yours.
Yours.network is the website.
Like YOURS.
Yeah. So the name's a little goofy, but I think it's a pretty interesting concept, and he's actually using Lightning Network for it. So if segregated witness finally gets approved, then it will be like the first active application using it already.
Cool.
That could get spicy.
Yeah. So this Friday at basically this time, so in 2 days. Yeah, mark your calendars. Check out youtube.com/blocktalk. Anyways, that's enough of my chill here.
Oh, is that just a quick commercial there?
Yeah, well, slight commercial break, and we would now return to your regular scheduled programming.
Hey, we can't recommend Blocktalk anymore here. I mean, it's awesome. Or no, did that come out wrong? I didn't mean we can't recommend it more.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
That's
Cool.
what I meant to say.
Well, I think we got time for maybe one more coin here, guys. If you want to do another spin.
Oh, sure.
All
We
right.
kind of squeezed 2 in there. We didn't really give Library Coin its due. Eh? We just piece of shit.
Yeah. we cover it a lot on the show. It's like, oh, better luck next time, you know.
Yeah, really, that's what a lot of this comes down to, right? You can never be 100% sure about any of this stuff.
Oh, and here we got Steam. So I guess we covered that. Let me.
Well, that was weird.
Figures. I knew that was going to happen.
It happened with IOC. It happened with Steam. Like it's. What else were we talking about before?
SPV.
You know what I hear a lot of people squawking about, but we talk about it too much, is Digi. Why are people so in love with Digi?
It's got a good market maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's the market maker is really taken does a good job managing and making it entertaining. So there's a lot of people who've been kind of lifers for it. I'm not sure what GNT is. I think it was suggested this week.
George Norman.
Googling here.
Yeah.
No, G. What is it again?
GNR.
GNR.
I thought it was GNT.
Sorry. It's GNT, yeah.
But I still have no idea what it is.
Gavin Norman Thomas. Let's see here. I'm going to Bitcoin Talk.
Gavin Norman Thomas?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
That's the
my
actual.
screen nothing comes up for that.
I know what this is. This is Golem. Okay. Yeah, this isn't even trading yet. This isn't even trading yet, I don't think. This was an ICO that happened like last week or 2 weeks ago, but it sold out in like 20 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like a supercomputer project for Ethereum. So
is it over here yet?
It's maybe. Probably not. I don't think it's pre-trading anywhere.
Network tokens?
Yeah, that's what it stands for.
Oh boy,
Where are they getting
681 million?
Is that on any exchange? Where are they getting that data?
Go to market tabs, Brian. It might be on the trade. No, a little lower. Right there above the chart. Yeah, market. The Chinese exchanges. So it might be an IOU. I don't know, but that's interesting. Because I know
add those exchanges to the Coinigy feature request.
Yeah, because on Youngby, there's actually another Ethereum token that's doing like pre-trading. So it might be a similar concept, doing some pre-trading. But yeah, another like this is why I think there's Coinigy, because there's so many Ethereum projects and they're all kind of interesting, and some of them are actually difficult to get into. But I think we need to do another spin of the wheel. Maybe we'll get better luck next time.
All right. You know, if anything, I'll just say that when you see this really choppy back and forth, this is what they call block trading. Looks a little suspicious.
Oh, well, speaking of block trading, you guys want...
What's that?
We got Block as our token.
Block. BLOCK?
Yeah.
All right, where do we want to look at this? Polo?
Is that the Blocktalk currency?
No, that's BTC.
Yeah. Well, anyway, actually, well, you know, I mean, if anything, this is actually getting back to our original conversation about, you know, just having some sort of confidence in bottoms. I think when we look at this on a weekly basis over on Polo, can you guys see this gap right here? And we can see the original double bottom down here and here. So you can see that this is the floor on this coin. So if you wanted to work bids, probably down in this area is not a bad idea. I always like to look at trying to work bids at gaps. And that's actually the original fractal bottom there. So, you know, how many are out on this thing? 3.9 million, $700,000 market cap. Wow, that's pretty rich. What price is it? It is 23,000. Wow, so this is still quite a long way down here, right? So the bottom here is 5,000. So 10, 25. So percentage-wise, this is still a very, very long way down here, guys.
Mhm.
So, yeah, not overly impressed. The good part about, just using the silly little concepts like reload zones is at least you can see where, the market was just fluffy all up in here. At least you wade into here, okay, fine, we're not buying into fluff. You can see the moving average sandwich. We lost the lows of the moving average sandwich. So now the moving averages themselves are going to be significant resistance. So, if anything, it looks to me like coming back down to earth. We have an old saying in venture cap, sometimes going up too far, too fast. Is this really sustainable growth rate from 5,000 up to 130,000 sats, 140,000 sats? Is that sustainable growth? Probably not. So quite often, if we see them move up too far, too fast, they have to basically retrace the entire move.
Hey, in case you're curious, so Richie.
Well, your volume just, your microphone must have died, Bill.
Oh no, I just put it back on my head. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Richie in our chat, he said actually twice. He said, Economy apparently bought all of or a lot of the Gollum ICO. I just wanted to bring that up. That stuff
was that ICN that we looked at?
Yeah, ICN is like the mutual fund, and apparently they bought up a ton of the IOUs for Gollum. But anyways,
and see, now this is where it gets tricky, right? How much of that entire investment stake are they going to put in this one story?
Right.
And are they betting the farm? Is this actually prudent money management? All those kind of things.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interject. But
yeah, and the interesting thing is if that Gollum story works and it takes off into the spring, then the little fund is going to do great and everybody's going to love them. Mm-hmm. I don't. Anytime you're buying into a fund, I don't really like that because you're just adding another middleman to the equation, which means there's going to be some sort of fees. There's going to be a payment for that person or whatever. Hopefully people watching this show over the long term have picked up enough tools where they can actually start doing this themselves and making relatively good decisions. I find it fascinating, guys, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I find it fascinating that we got up as high as about 61, 6,200 or so, and through this whole meltdown, we're sitting at $5,600 right now. So, I mean, God, the Ethereums have just collapsed. And a lot of the darlings from the spring are just fractions of what they were, but just good, solid, prudent money management. Through these time periods, really, you should kind of go sideways. So I'm just tooting my own horn. Sorry about that.
No, but yeah, it goes to show, like with the space, you're not dealing with, high fees for every transaction or every trade you're making. So to take control of your own money is really one of the benefits of the space. So to go into a hedge fund, it's kind of a step backwards.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, guys, you're watching this show, you've invested this time, and there's tons of shows for you to watch. You could spend probably a week just watching us hour after hour after hour. What number
which I've been
actually...
told people have done already. So, which I mean, hey, thanks for watching, but man, that blows my mind. Had a couple people say, "Dude, I've sat and watched every single one of these shows." So hats off to you guys.
So you should have picked up enough of Brian's first rule of investing. Try and come up with some sort of systematic approach where 2 out of 3 times when you swing the bat you win. And then number 2, don't put more than 5% of your money into any one single play. Just don't do it. Mm-hmm. And voila, you got yourself your own mutual fund. So anyway.
That 5% rule has saved me so many times, it's not funny.
Yeah, and you know the interesting thing with 5% is it works great for little old lady and stuff like that. Nice, simple. You know, margin traders. I don't know whether we want to go 5%. That's a bit heavy for guys that are in the market every day trading. Maybe even cut that back to like maybe 2-3%. But little old lady, especially this altcoin space kind of idea, that rule saves your ass so often. So.
Good deal. Well, I think on that note, should we shut her down? And I guess we're gonna do 2 weeks from tonight again. If does that work for everybody?
Did I do a half decent job tonight? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Oh,
Yes,
cool.
we all were.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, Brian, how's the school going? What's new?
We have a new term starting up in the new year. That was actually sold out like a month or so ago, though.
Oh,
so
jeez.
for people
I was
that
gonna say
are,
you could advertise it, but it's already sold out.
yeah, for people that are interested, I suppose we will start building a reservation list for the spring program. You know, you're more than welcome to come by the site, and you know, people probably see me on the internet and they're like, why doesn't Brian, tell us more about what he's buying and stuff? He's always just out banging out doubles tweets and stuff and rubbing it in our faces. Well, I mean, let's call a spade, guys. I mean, I'm not doing this for free. I would, if you are interested in trading and investing the market the way I want to, we run a very robust site here. Daily videos every single day. You guys get to sit and listen to me for a half hour, 45 minutes. You think that's bad, Alex, man? Come on the site and watch me 45 minutes a day. You'll be numb. But great site, great service. We run some. I'm so proud of what I've done here because this is excellent demonstration. And everybody in the public, if you can do this, you'll do great in investing, and you just make yourself, life actually a lot easier. So feel free to pop by the site, and it's therationalinvestor.co, and we'd love to have you on by. And if you want to pop by the site and have a question for me, feel free to. We have a public lounge, and you can PM me. More than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great service, and
actually, I didn't even show
I've heard so many people just raving about your class, obviously. So.
Yeah, I had one guy today, one student of mine, out of nowhere. He posted this Forex chart, and he was just tearing up the British pound, Japanese yen. And in his tweet, he goes, I couldn't have done any of this if I didn't take Brian's course.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, yay, that's like the best thing someone could possibly say.
Yeah, feels good, man. Hey, so Da Vinci, anything you want to plug here at the end of the podcast?
I'm not selling anything, but
Twitter or something, get some followers.
I have a Twitter account, DaVinciJ15, right, at Twitter. And I really think that if anybody who wants to invest just for like retirement, a simple little old lady approach is the easiest thing to do because you can spend only like 10 minutes a day on it, and you'll be making, like with crypto, you could triple your money easily each year. So within like 3 or 4 years, you could be a multi-millionaire with crypto. I mean, who knows, because the exchange might like collapse on you and stuff like that. but it's a possibility, right? So
and what's worse is we actually have had students, and we actually had one student who actually himself, he brought down one of these Forex, trading houses kind of thing, just because they usually take the opposite side of their clients' bets because the public almost always loses money. And this guy was just banging out winners right, left, and center, and he literally brought the damn brokerage house down.
Wow.
I love that. Nasco, if you're watching, way to go, dude. I love telling people that story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he was able to cash out.
Who's got that kind of power?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll close her out on that note. So yeah, I guess we'll be back 2 weeks from tonight. So Da Vinci, you're welcome to join us again.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. That was awesome.
Having you here. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Brian. And I guess we'll say happy trails. Thanks for watching.
And happy holidays.
And happy holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I don't know. Is that like, are we planning a show on Christmas or something?
That's the 21st. So
oh no. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.